What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Stardust here. Welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel, and we are back with a build video. That is right. I haven't played Marvel's Avengers properly for a little bit, so doing a build video seemed a little bit silly in my eyes because I just felt kind of bad for doing it. You know, I wasn't giving the game a lot of attention, but recently Nate Ace showed off this gear piece, right, which you can get from your vault missions, I do believe, which is energy barrier will electrocute nearby enemies. Now, I didn't know this, but this proc stuff like your tachyon surges, your targeted buffs, and if you have a ranged gear piece from the raid like this, it actually procs that as well at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I am going to showcase that just because it is so interesting, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the build that I do have. So what you do is you put up the energy barrier, and then all of a sudden you see that they get electrocuted, and obviously that works with things like leak and stuff. So for example, if you've got leak that's like hurting vibranium enemies with Sonic, does status leak, obviously you do a little sig, you put this up, and then they'll get absolutely smothered by it. But that isn't actually what the build is for today. My build is basically using tachyon surge, boosting the shock from the electric barrier, as well as my laser attacks and all that good stuff as well. So if you like the build, let me know. So of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload this, and we're going to jump in, and I'm going to show you a little bit of gameplay with it, while, giving you guys a little bit of commentary and stuff like that as well. And then hopefully you can kind of see what I'm trying to go for with the build at the moment. Is it 100%? Not necessarily. It's not very, good for survivability. So as you can see there, it does some damage, and now all of a sudden they're completely they're completely open to status effects, right? They're completely open to battery damage. Whilst that's all happening, the energy barrier's boosting my crit chance, so that payload's going out, which is obviously really good. You always have to make sure though to keep that shield up, because that is a huge part of the build. It builds up that status and all that good stuff as well. Hopefully you guys could kind of see like the whole point of this build thus far and what I'm trying to do with it. I will also say as well, takedowns are pretty good too. Not necessary though, just to be completely honest. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but I mean, they look cool, right? You've bought the takedowns for a reason, so I'm just going to take those guys out. We're going to do this one as well, because the thing is with builds, and what I've noticed is that obviously a lot of people are very much, they're quite scared when it comes to builds, and I actually understand that. They don't want to sort of feel like, the build isn't very good, and, you're only getting the best clips. That's genuinely why I like doing it live, so that you guys can kind of see, like, okay, this build is fine. It's not just, like, the best of scenario. Do you know what I'm saying? Because, people showcase builds, and it's not like a 100% of the time situation where they're going to be like amazing. I'm not saying this is even the best build in the world, but I think it is pretty cool nonetheless. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of this harm room scenario, and then I'm going to show you the gear pieces that I've got, show you exactly what you need to be doing, and all that good stuff as well. So let's look straight into it. So this one is my favorite gear piece. Now, if you guys have watched build videos that I've done in the past for Iron Man, you will know that I have this gear piece on since the dawn of time. I really cannot find a good replacement when it comes to lasers. I can't do it. So, 18.8% chance of heavy combo finisher grants the damage buff. Obviously, that's a laser combo ender, right? Increased status damage from heavy attacks. I'm always doing heavy attacks because that is how you do combat with your lasers, right? 16.3% increased critical attack damage from all weapons. Beautiful. Now, for this one, if you wanted to go for, the one where the barrier hurts, I suggest this gear piece here. I think it's really cool, especially faultless buff's really nice too if you want to proc Sonic like with this gear piece. But I have this one for lasers. All heavy attacks do vibranium. Attacking an enemy with vibranium that has an active Sonic, that's it's not really relevant. And chance that ranged critical attacks will activate a vibranium payload, which the barrier does, right? So let's get onto this gear piece. Now, not the best rolls. I do want resolve on it, just to give it a bit more survivability, but the other two perks don't really necessarily matter. Energy barrier will electrocute nearby enemies. I genuinely believe this could be a new meta of the game. I genuinely believe that energy barrier could be a new Iron Man meta coming to the game. And then I've got this tachyon surge as well. It increases the shock status really nicely, gives me tachyon surge. There's so many different options I could go with for this piece. I'll be looking at things like this one, for example, just sort of like nice and easy. This one too, just because I do a lot of takedowns with the build and stuff like that. But realistically, I just think this one's pretty much a go, you know, a complete winner in that regard. I have this one as well, which obviously increased stun meter build up from heavy combo finishes, which is why you do see me being able to do a lot of takedowns. And then I've got this one as well, just for a bit of survivability. Personally, I would love to just go for triple. You know, on either of these. Probably this one, though. I was looking at the perks really quickly, but I would love to do triple on that one, but it's just for a bit of survivability. And then I've got this simply just for the status damage as well, just because that is, to me, one of the better ones. I mean, if you go for bosses, obviously people like to use this one, but in normal combat scenarios, I would go with the Tactigon any time of the week. Now, what I would suggest is, when it comes to the little shield thing that you do have, I would absolutely recommend that you do this one. So when you've got the energy barrier up, regenerating your intrinsic energy, in my opinion, the absolute best thing you can do, because obviously with Iron Man, you can become supercharged and all that good stuff as well. And then for this one, if you want to, you know, use lasers, you can use lasers. This also works on repulsors as well, by the way. This isn't necessarily a complete, like, laser specific build. So if I show you real quick, just so it doesn't take as long, I'll put it on this one. They'll load in. You pop that up, right? They'll get swarmed a little bit, and then you can just start, you know, using your repulsors. And obviously, you're probably gonna get even more, you know, payloads, because obviously it counts as a more of a ranged attack than I do believe lasers do. But that could be completely wrong. I do like using the repulsors on this, because obviously it's very hard to find a repulsor build. So you can totally use this as both, though. Obviously, thanks to the wonderful gear piece I did get, you can obviously do both at the same time and make a neat little combo with it, which is always really fun to do in Marvel's Avengers, especially when the combat is so fun, when you're able to be let loose a little bit. I wouldn't recommend using the heavy attack missiles, though. I've got to be honest, simply because they're just a bit bad. Like, I really wouldn't recommend it at all. And when it comes to stats, I've got this. Not awful, would like some more valor and proficiency, but all in all, as you guys can see, it clearly gets the job done as well. Now, when it comes to other skills, to be completely honest, you can use whatever you want. I've been messing about with, you know, skills and stuff for ages, besides those two that I mentioned. Just have fun. Just literally have fun. Just go in and sort of cause some havoc. Now, I know people are going to be like, whoa, bro, you're not 175. I've got to be honest, guys. The raid, for me, I just don't really enjoy it that much. That's why I haven't really been playing Marvel's Avengers all that much. So it's been kind of hard for me to justify putting all that time into it. You know what I mean? Because obviously people are like, well, you're not 175, what you doing making builds? But I thought, you know, I'll show you guys this using a new electric barrier kind of meta that Nate Ace found. But let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you enjoy these kind of videos where I just go in, I just talk to you guys, and I show off a little build and stuff. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you in a bit. Peace.